So we're starting things off at the lounge at Toronto Pearson's International Airport. Enjoying some free snacks, we stocked up for our overnight flight. When we arrived in London, it was raining, so we took refuge at the British Museum and got to see a lot of cool art and artifacts. Our condo is in Seven Sisters area, which is a sub-district of the Tottenham in North London. We ended up at Buckingham Palace. We think it was a changing of the guards, but it was so busy we didn't get to see much. London has a lot of squares. Behold, Piccadilly Circus. It's kind of like our Yonge and Dundas Square. This is M&M's World. It's the largest candy store in the world. We also had to check out London's Chinatown. Off to Trafalgar Square, home to the National Gallery and the Canadian Embassy. Here you'll find some buskers of all sorts, from street dancers to people dressed up in giant stuffed animal costumes. As you can see, it's a busy time. And here are the buskers. At the Canadian Embassy, probably one of the nicest embassies that we encountered on our trip. We strolled by Westminster Abbey and the British Parliament buildings, and Big Ben, which is under construction for the next while. Oh look, it's Winston Churchill. Next, we checked out the Tower of London and Tower Bridge. It's pretty impressive. That grass is in pristine condition. Just taking some cool snaps and making our way to Tower Bridge. Oh look, it's the Shard, London's tallest freestanding building. Oh, free police escort to get us through the crowd. Lucky us. Walking across Tower Bridge. There goes a boat. Ooh, it's high. Our next stop was Carnaby Street, which is a pedestrian street where you can catch a plane after work. Kinsley Court is a 3-story food and dining destination filled with many options. We also checked out Hamley's Toy Store, which has a variety of toys and, of course, many Lego models, as you can see. And a trip isn't complete without a ride on the tube. We're having so much fun. We arrived at the Natural History Museum. Here we are at dinosaurs, which frightened some of the children. Dinosaur eggs, dinosaur heads, dinosaur fossils, furry dinosaurs, naked dinosaurs, foxes, and other animals. Look, it's a bear. We were welcomed in the main atrium by a skeleton of a blue whale hanging from the ceiling. After that, we went to the Science Museum. From spacecrafts, cars, trains, items throughout the years, this place will keep you entertained for hours. The Science Museum is found in South Kensington, close to the Natural Science Museum, so it made for an easy trip. Items throughout the years were really entertaining to see. Oh look, it's a car. And a space shuttle. An old MRI machine. Who knew? Planes. Old sewing machines and vacuum cleaners, and automatic door openers. Kitchen appliances, refrigerators once more, the Science Museum. I do recommend checking it out. Next up, some outdoor time. Checking out the area, we stopped at the Albert Memorial, directly north of the Royal Albert Hall in Kensington Gardens. It was commissioned by Queen Victoria in memory of her beloved husband, Prince Albert. Kensington Gardens, once the private gardens of Kensington Palace, were amongst the royal parks of London. Saying goodbye to Seven Sisters, our last day in London. Now off to Berlin, our next stop on our vacation. This was our condo in Berlin. Arrived at Berlin's massive central station, where we conveniently found Dunkin' Donuts and a nice treat to enjoy it at the Brandenburg Gate. Here we are standing outside the Parliament building, and now the Soviet Memorial Site. There's the victory column. Here's the memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe. This has many interpretations, but all represent the Jews who lost their lives in World War II. Also a contribute to the Koreans who fought in the war. The Topography of Terror, an outdoor and indoor history museum, has the longest segment of the outer wall. The longest is at the East Side Gallery. On to the subway system. Here we are at the East Side Gallery, the longest stretch of the remaining Berlin Wall. This was part of the inner wall that once stood. The Oberbaum Bridge is a double-decker bridge crossing Berlin's River Spree. It's considered one of the city's landmarks. It links the two boroughs that formerly were divided by the Berlin Wall, and has often become a symbol of the importance of Berlin's unity. Here we are returning to our condo. And now Berlin's National History Museum. It's also home to Tristan, one of the best preserved Tyrannosaurus rexes in the world. It has approximately 300 bones, and 170 have been preserved. In 1993, the unification of Germany caused the museum to split into 3 divisions: the Institute of Mineralogy, Zoology, and Paleontology. Glass specimens in the wet collection comprise about 1 million specimens and are stored in 276,000 jars. Here we are with some stuffed animals. This museum was really neat too. Look, a gorilla! Parrots and jaguars. A Berlin watchtower for the first victim of the Berlin Wall. We also stopped at the visitor center of the Berlin Wall Memorial. Here, you can find the documentation center with the exhibition depicting moments from 1961 to 1989 surrounding the Berlin Wall. Here's Berlin's TV tower, which is around 203 meters high. The Fountain of Neptune and 4 women representing Prussia's main rivers. Here is the Berlin Cathedral Church. The current building was finished in 1905. Also on the island, you'll find the Alta Museum, which houses unique collection, and the newest museum. Also, Humboldt University. We passed by the German Symphony and even caught a little bit of rehearsal. Our last day, we took an adventure to the Berlin Tech Museum, which is a museum of science and technology and exhibits a large collection of historical technical artifacts. The museum's main emphasis originally was on rail transport, but today it also features exhibits of various sorts of industrial technology. An extensive railway collection opened in 1987-88. We spent most of our time here not realizing how massive this museum truly was. The museum also has 2 windmills, 1 German and 1 Dutch, a brewery, and a forge powered by a water wheel. So many historical trains. It was very impressive. Miniature models of cities. It was endless. From new to old, so many trains. We also got to see some photography throughout the years. Our sketches of each other, different cameras. Look at that, it's an old movie reels, and art, I think. Different broadcast equipment. And now we're entering the computer area. Computers throughout the years, how they progressed, what was used. We got to see some aviation equipment, lots of planes. We still couldn't get over how big this museum was, spending our entire day there, looking at submarines and boats, and many, many planes. some fancy cars throughout the years, and how they progressed throughout history. Oh, look, a bug. Motorcycles. Now off to Krakow. We made our way to Old Krakow. This is the largest medieval town square in all of Europe. Krakow's Rynek Główny Central Square. The main square is a space surrounded by historical townhouses and churches. This is our view from our condo. Isn't it grand? Our Airbnb was not too far from Starly Klepptplatz, the oldest continuous operating market in Krakow. Beautiful, beautiful town. The Krakow Barbican, a defense gateway from the 1490s. Next, Rynek Underground. The underground square central museum of Krakow is situated below the market square of the city and has an area over 6,000 square meters. We encountered many beautiful churches throughout our time in Krakow. And even got to see Wawel Castle and the cathedral within it. Massive palace grounds, so beautiful, with very nice views of the city. The Corpus Christi Basilica, located in the Jewish district of Krakow. The area is also home to the Ghetto Heroes Square and Oskar Schindler's house. Here we are at Krakow Mound, thought to be the resting place of Krakow's mythical founder, the legendary King Krakus. Walk across the bridge over the Vistula, the longest river in Poland, which connects the two boroughs. Here we are at the salt mines in southern Poland. So the mines reach a depth of 327 meters. There were many tunnels that were kind of creepy at times, but an overall a very interesting experience. We even caught a rainstorm, but took refuge at Wawel Castle. Making our way back to the Jewish district, we got to view some beautiful synagogues before making our way back to Old Town and entered the Cathedral of St. Paul and St. Peter to catch a show. Strolling through the central square one last time, our last night in Krakow. Many vendors so you can find knickknacks and food. It was a very beautiful last night in Poland. Saying goodbye to our Airbnb. Next up, Kiev. After a horrible ride of turbulence, we made it to Kiev in one piece. A nice surprise staying in quite the palace, as you can see. Across the street is St. Volodymyr's Cathedral. It's one of the city's major landmarks and the mother cathedral of Ukrainian Orthodox Church. Down the street is also the Golden Gate, which was once used as a fortification of Kiev. Kiev is also home to many churches throughout the city. And of course, the weirdest playground we have ever seen. This is Children's Landscape Park. I think it takes a lot of influence from fairy tales. It was just plain creepy and very isolated, which we loved. Not many people and very unique art. It went on forever. We could not make sense of it. Here we have a beautiful view of Kiev. More churches as we venture further through the Children's Landscape Park. Encountered more art and more statues and odd things. Whee, some playground time. Here we are at the bottom of St. Andrew's Descent, where nearby Chernobyl Museum resides. At the top of the descent, you can find St. Andrew's Cathedral. Independence Square, which is the central square of Kiev, often simply called Maidan. It was the home to many protests during the 2014 Ukrainian Revolution. Checking out Kiev's subway system. It is home to the deepest subway stop in Europe, reaching 106 meters deep. Took us a while to get to the top. About 4 minutes to travel through on a high-speed escalator. You think that's it? Nope, one more to go. Good thing we put this in high speed. Of course, one of the most distinguishing features of Kiev is the Motherland Monument. The sculpture is part of the Natural Museum of the History of Ukraine and the Second World War. Goodbye, Kiev.